Aloha everybody, this is Pablo Wegison back at with another YouTube page, and in my previous YouTube page was about venting strategically and not recklessly. And I talk about how, when you're frustrated and angry about things, that you need to vent in a way that will get you more support instead of venting in a way that will alienate people and make people not want to help you. And of course, we're not all perfect people, and of course sometimes we make major mistakes and stuff while doing it. I mean, we do have to stand up for our rights and stand up against disrespect and all that stuff. And so the reason why I'm doing another one on that issue is because this year is like the 25th anniversary of the Los Angeles riots, which happened in 1992, and the whole riots was basically an example of venting recklessly instead of strategically. So the background to that, in case you didn't know, so in April 29, 1992, there was a trial that ended for the four police officers that brutally beat up Rodney King. Rodney King was a driver. He was African American ancestry. He was driving. He was actually driving drunk that night, and the police chased him around, and they stopped him, and then they beat him up like really bad. And there was on videotape, and even when he stopped resisting arrest, and they're still beating him. He's lying down. I mean, at that point, you just put, just go on him and just maybe arm lock him and put handcuffs on him. No, they kept beating him with sticks, stomping on his head. It's a pretty brutal beating, and because of the visuals was four European American officers beating up an African American person. Of course, that gives people like a lot of bad memories of of being of racism and all that, and being targeted by the police. And the Los Angeles police at that time was had a lot of scandals of racism and that sort of thing, brutality, and it was the Los Angeles Police Department encouraged their officers to be aggressive and be tough and all that. And the thing with that is that take this warrior mentality. And the thing is, the police didn't even try to control the warrior mentality. The police vented recklessly instead of strategically. So even the police are an example of venting recklessly, because police are always worried about getting attacked and beat up. But then the thing is, they think everyone's out to get them. That's the thing with when you keep preaching to the police, be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive. You think everyone's out to get you, so you treat everybody as if they're your enemy. You start talking down to people and start being mean to people, and then start taking every disagreement personally. And because of that, so there's a lot of standards of police brutality and all that, because at that time the LA Police Department was mostly European American, and even the ones who are serving in mostly African American or even the mostly Latino neighborhoods, the police are racially profiling people, treating everybody as a suspected gang member. If you're see a group of people hanging out late at night in a certain corner, the police will assume you're a gang member, and hey, what are you doing? And they start searching them, even if they didn't even have a gun or whatever, even if they do have a gun but it's legally registered or whatever, or at the time there was a whole hysteria about drugs, and this is the time when the crack cocaine was was one of the hottest drugs at the time. And there's all that's the thing with the laws against drugs, is that they does encourage police to search people and harass people, and with the stereotype if he looks a certain way he must be on drugs, let's pick on him, let's stop him, and pat downs and that sort of thing. And that angered a lot of people. It's what? That's because they're African American, or that's because they're Latino, whatever. Doesn't mean they were doing drugs, but they didn't get, or that's because we're young African American male, young Latino male, doesn't mean they were gang members, whatever. So there was a lot of police harassment, abusive policing, that sort of thing. So that thing was going on, and now of course the NWA had their F the police, and I used to have the cop killer song, and yeah, because there was a lot of frustration against the police. So the police was So the police say the way they acted was venting recklessly instead of strategically, because they're being reckless and you know they're basically getting away with it, you know. And then when that Rodney King, the police officers had their trial and they're found not guilty, like whoa, okay, like that showed people like whoa, okay, then the police gonna treat us like that. Well, fine, well let's break things up. But the thing is, the rioters were being reckless too. They weren't being strategic. They're being reckless. You know, like burning down stores and destroying people and actually attacking people and beating them up and like. And that's the thing, is like they were like in one part of South Central there was like rioters were mostly African American. Well, at that area, like throughout the end, by the time the riots were over, most of the rioters were Latino, because in the city of Los Angeles, Latinos outnumber African Americans. So by the time the riot was over, it was mostly Latinos. But in that, where it started, it was mostly African American neighborhood, and it was and the thing was that area was a Crip territory. It was the A-Trade gangster Crips that run that neighborhood, and they basically attacked anyone who was an African American. So they attacked well the one attack that got shown over and over again was the attack on Reginald Denny. It was a European American guy. He's a professional truck driver, and he was going his usual route and got attacked by 4 African American gang members. Then the other brutally beaten up. See, that's being reckless right there. I mean, what does Reginald Denny had to do with Rodney King? He wasn't one of the guys beating up Rodney King. He wasn't a police officer brutally attacking people or harassing people. He wasn't like that. He was just because he was European American, he was beaten up and attacked and stomped on and all that. Like, see, that's being reckless right there. And it wasn't only European Americans that got attacked. There was like a lot of Latino guys that attacked too. So it was like, so yeah, in the LA riots, it was like most Latinos were both the victims and the predators in the riots. So there was Latino guys like getting dragged out of their cars and getting beat up just because they were an African American, and also a lot of Asians, especially the Koreans. When anybody was Asian, we got. In fact, when they did all the stats later on, like we found out the majority of the victims of the LA riots were Asian ancestry. Majority of them. Right on the TV cameras, the TV kept showing the Reginald Denny European American guy got beat up, but and of course that probably probably because most of the U.S. would relate to him more than to a Korean immigrant or a Guatemalan immigrant or any other Latino or Asian immigrant, but yeah, the majority were got attacked were Asian ancestry, and there was this Korean store owner Sun Ja-do who was working at a store in Compton, and she got into an argument with this African American girl, Latasha Harlins, and Latasha was like, I'm trying to buy this juice, and no, you're stealing, and they got into an argument. They started pushing, and then Sun Ja-do, the Korean lady, shot her, Latasha Harlins, and of course that angered a lot of people who thought the Koreans were being racist and racially profiling customers and all that. So there was definitely a lot of anger at that, and of course the Korean lady Sun Ja-do got a pretty lenient sentence. She got probation for killing somebody. It wasn't even self-defense. It was killing somebody because she disagreed with her. Like Latasha Harlins said, I'm gonna buy it. Okay, I mean, come on, let her buy it already. Okay, even if, we don't know if she was trying to steal or she was just accused of stealing because of what she looked like. But either way, I mean, I don't think we should shoot someone over that. I mean. But anyways, so there was a lot of anger towards the Koreans, and so the riots were like basically being reckless because they just assumed that a lot of these rioters just assumed, okay, if you're Korean, you must be supportive of Sun Ja-do, and you must be anti-black racist, and so basically the rioters just with all that anger towards the LAPD. They just went after everybody. They weren't just attacking police. They were just attacking everybody. Attacking anybody who was just unlucky to drive around that day, pulling out of cars, beating the crap out of them, stomping on heads. Even one case where he spray painted one Guatemalan immigrant just spray painted his face, put oil on him. So there was a lot of recklessness. It wasn't strategic, it was recklessness. It was just, I'm angry, I'm gonna attack people. The problem is this turns people off from your cause. But luckily, those other people in the neighborhood that were being strategic, that were helping other people. So Reginald Denny, he got rescued by African Americans. So it wasn't like only African Americans only attacking. There was other African Americans in the areas like, hey, stop this, knock it off. And there's even another Guatemalan immigrant I mentioned earlier. They got pulled out of the car. He was saved by African American guys too. So it wasn't like African Americans only attacking or anything. In every racial group, there's people who act and have different opinions and have different attitudes and stuff. And so the rioters, the LA rioters, they're being reckless. They had all this anger, but they're being reckless and just destroying attacking everybody. That didn't help the cause. But what helped the cause, there's other people in the neighborhood, there's other African American guys who were rescuing the victims of African American racists. So there's African Americans who are racist and wanted to kill anybody who's European or Latino or Asian, and there's African Americans who were against all these attacks and who were trying to save European American guys or save Latino and Asian people. So there was African American guys, they're outraged against the Rodney King beating, but there's hey, let's not attack everybody. Let's not pull people out of cars. They saved some of the victims. They saved them, drive them to the hospital. I think it was one of those African American civilians that saved them. Not only saved Reginald Denny, but drove him to hospital so he can get reconstructive surgery. And all these rioters burning stores and stuff. Okay, they're angry. But what does that do? I can tell you what it did. It destroyed the store. That means the people who worked in the store don't have a job anymore because their place of work got looted and destroyed and burned. So where are they gonna work? So so you end up costing people jobs. So you think, okay, I'm angry, I'm gonna destroy stores and all that, but you end up destroying your own neighborhood, destroying your own people, destroying everybody around you. Because you're being reckless and burning down shops and stuff. Other people in your community don't have a job to go to now. How are they gonna support their family? How are they gonna feed their family? How are they gonna pay the rent? See, the rioters weren't being strategic, they're being reckless. Let's not get sick of these people making excuses for the rioters and saying, oh, it's not a riot, it's a rebellion, it's about uprising. Okay, yeah, there's a rebellious element to it. And there's some reasons for that, all the anger, but it was expressed recklessly. Okay, it was innocent people got beat up and stomped on, and somebody even died. Stores and other places got looted and burned, and those who are working here don't have a job anymore. That was being reckless, and now and that made people more afraid of that the riots, people see the images of riots, people are afraid of African Americans and afraid of going to certain neighborhoods and all that because they're sure they might be victimized. See, so that the rioters are being reckless. They didn't help the cause, they hurt the cause. They hurt the cause big time. And even with the so that's the thing with the riots and so there was Latinos who were getting involved in the riots too, and they burning in stores and all, and they didn't help the cause too. They made Latinos look all savages and stuff, and make them look all looters and gang bangers and so they didn't hurt that hurt the Latino cause too. So when you're angry about what's going on don't attack innocent people. Come on, man. Be angry all you want the abusive police officers, or be angry at the politicians, or if there's a person that maybe a business person or a small business racial profiling. Be angry at the person, but don't just go attacking everybody that just because they look like someone that hurt you. Come on, man. Be strategic. Don't be reckless. Don't go just looting stores just because Well, because you're angry, what's that anger gonna do? You're gonna end up hurting other people. So I mean, be angry, but just target at the right person, you know, and keep your anger at the individual level. It's like, okay, you're mad at the how some European Americans treat you. Doesn't mean you have to go on attacking every European American out there. Come on, man. I mean, Reginald Denny didn't do anything wrong. He just happened to be in a certain neighborhood that he probably passed by a million times. But I mean, don't just anger towards the Korean store owner that was racial profiling people like that. Just don't. And be angry at the individuals doing the racial profile, but don't like attack every Asian over that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, that's why Rodney King was like saying, you know, like after all that, I was like, you know, can we all just get along? I mean, people make jokes about it, and I'm kind of guilty. I made some jokes about it in the past, but seriously, I mean, he was right. He was right. I mean, come on, man. Can we just get along and not attack people here? And, like, you watch his speech. I mean, watch an interview. Like, go on YouTube and look it up. It's like, it was a pretty profound thing, you know, talking about, you know, like, come on, man. People trying to get to work, you know, like, you talk about the security guard who died. Man, he was just doing his job. He's talking about how the riots are making it horrible for, like, the older people and the young people and all that, like, for children and the senior citizens. Like, he was right, man. It was, like, a very profound thing. I mean, when he said that, it's like, yeah, so basically, yeah, Rodney King was about being strategic. He was about, and it was not even that, too. Like, also, church ministers are trying to keep the peace at that time. I mean, they're being strategic, too, but I guess some of the rioters and all that, they're being reckless, and they run a lot. They run a lot of things, so yeah, just gotta learn to be strategic with your venting, and you know, maybe just don't riot, you know, just civil disobedience. Could have been a powerful thing if everyone had marched with a civil disobedience spontaneously, but riots and stuff, come on, man, that's just being reckless. That's just eating everybody around you. So yeah, so just always remember the words by Rodney King. Stop making it horrible for everybody else, you know, just, you know, I can understand your anger, but, you know, we'll get it, you know, may not just get it justice now, but you get it justice later. I know. Can we all just get along, please? Alright, that's all I gotta say, and just remember, vent strategically, not recklessly. Mahalo.